99.3 Nigeria Info.
It's 8 a.m. and this is the Morning Crossfire. We're now discussing coronavirus and also bringing you updates on Lassa fever. These are the newest diseases ravaging Nigeria and the world. No, coronavirus isn't in Nigeria yet, but Lassa fever is taking its toll. We've had conversations on Lassa fever. We've taken it to Kano, where it all began. We're talking to the NMA chairman there, who told us about the doctors who died, the medical workers who died in Kano State due to Lassa fever. We're bringing you more updates and also talking about this novel virus, which no one has ever heard about before. It's new. No one understands it fully yet. And it's called the coronavirus. There are scares. There was a big scare last week that coronavirus might be in Lagos. And everyone was watching out. But that scare was dispelled. But let's look at the question, are we really safe in Nigeria from coronavirus? Is it that far away from us? If it comes into Nigeria, can we handle it? What can we do to prevent ourselves and keep ourselves safe? That's a conversation for the next 1.5 hours. Yes, we're glad to remind you that the Morning Crossfire show now ends at 9:30 a.m. every weekday, which means that the Money, Business and Economy show with Toji Andrews now starts at 9:30 a.m. Welcome to the show. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
I am Sheriff Quadry. Remember that you can join us online on our socials, YouTube and Facebook. Nigeria Info 99.3 is what you can search for. That is Nigeria Info 99.3 on those platforms. You can also join the conversation on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. On WhatsApp, please take down the WhatsApp number. The WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805. That is 0809 597 5805. That's our WhatsApp portal. So you can join our conversation as we go along this morning. You're welcome.
Right, let's tell you that we have with us in the studio right now our very Dr. Fred. We like to just call him Dr. Fred. Welcome to the show this morning. Good morning. Good to have you here. And joining us live from Rivers State Ministry of Health, that's Department of Public Health, we have Dr. Tamunawari Nombere joining us via the lines. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Good morning.
Glad to have you joining us. You can head over to our live feed on Facebook to join this conversation and also leave us your comment on the show today. Let me start with you, Dr. Tamino. Let's start with the Lassa virus, which is quite domestic and which every year we, always have fatality from this virus. We've talked about this quite a number of times on the show, but again, what's the update with Lassa fever? Why do we still have more people coming down? Do you think awareness is yet lacking about Lassa fever?
Well, I think on the contrary, there's increased awareness. That's why we seem to be seeing more suspected cases. People are aware, and so they're reporting their symptoms, or they're reporting to the nearest health facility. Also, there's improved diagnostic capacity around the country, so we're able to make the diagnosis faster. So these are some of the reasons why we have an increased number of cases.
Dr. Tamino, please confirm to us one of the reasons why you're here on Lassa fever is because of the news we got that there were confirmed cases in Rivers State. Tell us about that.
So there was a press release by the Acting Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health last week. We've had 3 confirmed cases.
Unconfirmed?
Yes. Confirmed.
Okay, confirmed.
Cases.
Okay.
How many confirmed cases now?
3.
3?
3 confirmed cases, yes.
Wow. What were the sources of these cases? Were there human-to-human contact or primary source? Are they primary sources?
So, one of the issues with zoonotic infections is trying to get the history of contact with the reservoir, like the lab. And if we're not able to, sometimes it's really difficult to get that information, that history. So we can't say exactly how or what the source of the infection was.
Why exactly is it hard? You're with the Ministry of Health. Why is it hard to trace the source of the infection? If we can't trace the source of the infection, how do we understand the number of contacts they've had with other people?
So we know what is in the books, the source of infection for Lassa fever. So we depend on the history given to us by the patient.
Okay.
And if the patients don't give us the history required, we cannot say exactly what the source of this particular outbreak is. And the patients also died, so it was difficult to get that information from them.
So tell us, confirm to us right now, what is the state of these 3 confirmed cases right now, these patients?
We've had 3 confirmed cases and 3 deaths.
Oh, 3 deaths.
Yes.
Okay. Before I come to Dr. Fred, just a while ago we spoke, as I mentioned in the introduction, with Dr. Sanusi Bala Mohammed, who's the chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association in Kano State, who was here last week Thursday, and he talked about how Kano found its way, Lassa fever rather, found its way to Kano State. Then remember that a situation report published by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control said within the past few weeks, the disease has spread from 9 to 19 states across the country. As a result of the contagious nature of the disease, the country had recorded a total of 258 confirmed cases between 1st of January and 26th of January, including 7 health workers. Here's what Dr. Bala Mohammed said to us on the show last week Thursday.
In Kano State, actually, it's not a kind of transmission that one will think as usual coming from the rat and so forth. We have a traveler, all these diseases, even the coronavirus in China, is associated with travels and so forth.
Right.
Someone traveled to visit someone in another state that happened to die from Lassa fever. And she came back to Kano, and she was taken care of by her daughter. From there, she got the disease. She went to the hospital in Kano, where she happened to be pregnant at the same time. She's having what is called antepartum hemorrhage, and an attempt to save the baby. The doctors took her for a surgery, and that is where a number of them got infected.
Also, back and earlier on this year, on the 27th of January, we talked about Lassa fever, and Rotimi Sankore was on the show then, and he traced the recurring cases of Lassa fever to a high level of political insecurity among the ruling class. You'll be wondering, what has this got to do with Lassa fever? Let's remind you of what Rotimi said then.
There is a serious level of policy insincerity. If there is a cholera outbreak in Nigeria, the health sector will not call out the water minister or commissioners or sector.
Let's mention the ministry we should be calling out right now.
So it's in this case, it's the Ministry of Agriculture. The main route through which Lassa fever is introduced into the chain is through rats playing with food that is spread on the ground to dry.
Dr. Fred, in Kano State, the source was traced to a pregnant woman. And health workers also died. Some of them are recovering while trying to save this pregnant woman. 3 people dead in River State. 3 more people down now. We don't know how many more have had contacts with them. Lassa fever recurs every year, and health workers are always on the front burner of those who are firstly infected. The question I try to understand is, why do we find it hard to deal with Lassa fever, which is a yearly infection?
Okay, thank you for that. Now, you notice it occurs during the dry season. Now, most Nigerians, when we have this sickness, we feel ill, we tend to manage it before presenting to the doctor.
Right.
Now, so you see the individuals would have managed it at home and no improvement. Then they present to the doctor. Now, most times they don't give detailed and accurate history. Some of them try to keep it to themselves. There was a case, then if you haven't managed Lassa before, you wouldn't understand the severity of what we're talking about. So they don't present early, and some of them keep to themselves. Now, if for any reason one dies, any other individual who hears such runs away.
Right.
Yeah, doesn't present again.
Right.
So you have to start asking and probing, is there any other individual feeling sick around you? Then you hear there was one, get that and when you test for Lassa, it becomes positive. So during this period, we tell health workers to have high index of suspicion. Just whenever you see any individual telling you, I'm cold, I'm feeling ill, even if you're going to treat for malaria, have Lassa at the back of your mind.
Is it impossible to manage, Dr. Fred? I understand what you're saying, presenting late. Even when they're presented late, is it impossible to manage? Is it impossible to save lives at that late stage?
Okay, nothing is impossible. I'm just trying to make it broad. Nothing. Yeah, you can never say never in medicine.
Right.
However, presenting late reduces the chances of surviving.
Right.
Yeah, because we call it hemorrhagic disease. By the time the individual starts bleeding, having kidney failure, you're just there. Also, we have seen individuals who you think this one would not make it, and they come out. Yes. So there are a lot of...
Because individuals react?
Yes, different individuals react. Yes.
differently.
You want to find out what was the level of immunity before contacting this Lassa fever virus.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Tamino, let me come to you. Let me take a word or two from what Dr. Fred in the studio just said about people presenting late. Were these patients that we lost, were they presented at the hospital late?
So, just like Dr. Fred said, it's very typical with Lassa fever. Of course, the symptoms are non-specific for the patients to visit different facilities or maybe a pharmacy or a chemist. And that we actually saw that with the cases we had.
Okay.
So I'm asking the question. So, of most concern to me is, why do people present late? Why don't they turn up at the hospital? In Rivers State, you have a population of about 3 million people. How many doctors do we have in Rivers State? And how many hospitals are there? If you have a number to share with us.
No, I don't have that number. But why people present late, I think, generally speaking, the health-seeking behavior of some Nigerians.
Did you say health-seeking behavior?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably
when you
because the hospitals, okay, we have a ratio of 1 doctor to about 10,000 patients. I mean, we talked about this yesterday when we were discussing cancer.
We did.
So if you're so we know the Nigerians have a habit of not turning up at the hospital, probably because over time they've learned that when you get to the hospital, you have to stay probably the whole day before you see a doctor, and they'll rather just head to a chemist, because even when you go to the hospital, the doctor first treats you for malaria. So why not just buy over-the-counter malaria drugs and then watch it over time? So have we worked over the years to increase the number of medical personnel that we have to handle numerous complaints from patients?
So what I know is that the capacity of the health personnel we have is built up and regularly to make diagnosis and to treat cases of these diseases that are presenting. So regarding increasing the number, I'm not certain of that, but I know that we try to improve the skills so that when patients come, they are managed promptly, especially for infectious diseases like Lassa that present. So there are many factors regarding the health system that might affect the health-seeking behavior of people. We're not actually ruling that out.
I'm particularly interested in the number of suspected cases. I mean, these people that we lost to Lassa fever, they didn't live in isolation. Were there traces done? Do we have suspected cases in River State?
So when we do sport contact tracing, we trace those who came in contact with the confirmed cases. And that's what we're presently doing. And none so far has come down with any symptoms.
How many people do we have now as suspected case?
Suspected? No, we have contacts of these confirmed cases presently.
Okay.
Not suspected cases.
Oh, contacts now.
Contacts, yes.
Okay. How many do we have? Is there a number?
As for the last press release, we have 57.
57?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Well, let's get to the phone lines for a moment. We're still coming back to talk some more. We have here in the studio with us Dr. Fred, and also on the line from the Department of Public Health, River State Ministry of Health, Dr. Taminawari Nombere, who's talking to us about the confirmed cases of Lassa fever. 3 dead, 3 currently undergoing treatment, and 57 contact persons that are being watched currently. Here are the numbers if you'd like to join us now.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
Yes, we are listening. Let's get to the lines. You can also join us on WhatsApp. The number is 08095975825. Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. Live stream ongoing now on Facebook and YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3.
That's right. Let's get to the phone lines, please. Make sure that when you call, turn down the volume of your radio. That will be very, very appreciated. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes,
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Abu Umar. I'm calling from Bagada.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's easy to condemn our attitude as Nigerians towards seeking for health or cure for whatever disease we attract. But the truth is that what is the cost of seeking this health care? Now, many of our general hospitals may say it's free or consultation fee is cheap. But anytime you go there, they refer you for medical tests. And these tests are done mostly in private clinics or lab. And then the cost is so huge that scares these people away. So when you present your case and they ask you, go and do these tests, go and do these tests, even buying of drugs is done outside the government hospitals. So it makes it very costly in as much as people are saying we are response to health is poor, but it's a factor of resources. It's a factor of financial capability to do so.
If I may ask you, where do you seek treatment from when you're ill? Where do you go to?
I go to a hospital. I do go to hospital.
Private hospital, public hospital, which one?
I go to a private hospital because that is where you can easily access health care. For instance, I have been opportune to be in Lut for some time ago. I took a patient there, but we spent almost a whole day to assess the doctor. So these are some of the things. Even I had to go away from my work, because I took somebody there. So these are some of the problems we have. In as much as people are willing to go to hospitals, they don't have the financial capability. So they resort to chemists or this agbo, if you like.
Right.
So these are the problems we have.
So thank you for calling. To Agbo now, Dr. Fred, is not only about enlightenment. It's also about the economies, the money in their pocket.
Yeah. It's a whole process. It's a whole. And Wemimo mentioned here we have a ratio of 1 doctor to 10,000.
Right.
Which means an average doctor sees a minimum of 100 patients a day. Now, if we were going to use medications that you would respond to, those medications are now expensive. If the doctor would investigate you have to go through some tests. Those tests are now expensive. We're having a whole issue with the manpower, with financing, with policies, with a whole stuff. Now, an individual wants to come to the health facility, stays in the hold up, then gets to the health facility, can't access the doctor, no treatment. The result does not come out that same day because the lab is overwhelmed. The lab scientists are overwhelmed. The reagents are down, and you tell me, why wouldn't they seek the pharmacist?
Alternatives.
Why wouldn't go to the agbo? Why wouldn't they?
Indeed. Hello, good morning to you.
Okay, please remember your radio needs to be off when you're calling us.
Turn it down when you're calling us. It's very, very important. Otherwise, we will not be able to speak with you. Dr. Samino, quickly, before I take the next call, let's talk about the awareness level in River State right now. First and foremost, how did your ministry that you're under, how did the ministry handle the awareness level as regards Lassa fever before, during, and after the patient zero that we experienced in River State?
So because we know that Lassa fever is endemic and it peaks from January to April, prior to to January, so early in December, we started doing sensitization of health workers, sensitization of the public. And when we had suspected cases, we intensified this. We have a social mobilization team or pillar in the Emergency Operations Center that goes to the communities to talk about Lassa fever to increase awareness, to the markets, to the schools. As I speak today, there's a team going to some schools to speak to students. We've had meetings with community leaders and key stakeholders who can speak to the people, who can listen, who they would likely listen to. Um, we can never say we've done enough, but we're intensifying this to ensure that people are fully aware about the
It was the
disease and so
crux
that
of
they
this
can seek.
sensitization that you did. What exactly are you telling the people to do or not to do?
Based on the transmission of Lassa fever, we tell them to wash their hands with soap and water, tell them to cover their foodstuff properly in rodent-proof containers. We tell them to keep their environment clean, basically on sanitation and hygiene. So that's what we really focus on.
If the clip I played earlier on, if you heard it, when Rotimi Sankore was here, the last time we discussed Lassa fever, and all the times we've had to talk about it, there's a nexus between the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Agriculture, which is where this always comes from. And I would just be asking you, do you think there's a sincerity within the Rivers State government in really dealing with Lassa fever? Are we dealing with this? Are you working with the Ministry of Agriculture to trace contaminated food from source?
So we have an emergency operations center, and it's multi-sectoral. In that center, we have people from the Ministry of Agriculture, we have the laboratorians, we have people from different sectors in the state that focus on different aspects of an outbreak response. So we're working also with the Ministry of Agriculture. We have personnel and they've been going to not just to the public but to farms to talk to poultry owners. They're doing a whole lot of sensitization of people that they are focused on.
I'm personally not impressed about how the Nigerian government deals with Lassa fever. I'm personally not impressed. I mean, like Dr. Tamino said, it's good to know that the Rivers State government started sensitization before this outbreak began. However, it appears like we're used to people dying from Lassa fever every year. I don't see this consensus. I don't see this working together, this synergy, this determination to ensure that no life is lost to Lassa fever. Do you see it? Am I missing something?
Let me answer through this part. We are first humans before being doctors. So I want to speak from the part of being a human before being a doctor. If you've had a relation, you've been to the hospital to take care of someone who has had Lassa before, you would know the pain that they go through, the suffering. It's not just about the trauma that the person has, the financial, the stress, the emotional, the fear. You feel this. You read in the textbook, it's different from what you see. Now, I'm pained because we are used to not being impressed and nothing is happening. Trust me. You hear Lassa fever 2010, Lassa fever 2015, Lassa
Since
fever
the
2020, and I don't know. I'm not in the government. I can't speak for the government. I'm just speaking for myself. As
but it's obviously, would you say we're doing enough?
But seriously, right now, we have more awareness. Social media is helping us. However, some individuals, someone told me yesterday that this Lassa fever is spiritual. Come on.
It's what?
Spiritual.
How?
I don't know. It hit me to my bone. And this individual is intellectual. Imagine if someone as this is saying this. What do you expect the market woman? So they say they've come again, or they want to tell us something. They want to just come and cajole us. So it's hard. We need to emphasize this. We need to show it, not just telling that we have policies and these are what we need to let the people feel this.
Let us see it.
Talk by Sonny on YouTube has a question. He says, I have a question for the doctor. How many people are currently infected with Lassa fever in Nigeria? That's your question.
Well, we mentioned that statistics earlier on in the introduction, in case you missed it. The
258.
200 as at January 26th. Right. So if you're following up on the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, you find that they update this information regularly. Let's do that for a very short break. We're talking Lassa fever. When we come back, we can see you all trying to call us. We'll take your calls when we return. We'll also talk about the coronavirus and bring you updates. The numbers are rising. The numbers of infected cases are rising across the world, and it's moving closer to us in Nigeria. Are we prepared for the outbreak? We dealt with Ebola, so we most likely can deal with this. We have people who will be managing. The doctors are here, so they'll tell us how prepared they are. Join us on our live stream on Facebook and YouTube. You can watch Dr. Tamino, who's joining us from River State, live on Facebook and YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3. A quick break. We're right back. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
And I'm Sheriff Quadry.
Your number one talk news and sports station. This is the Morning Crossfire with Wemimo and Sheriff.
We're back discussing Lassa fever and now switching it also to coronavirus. On the earlier part, we see the phone lines buzzing. We're coming there in a moment. We have with us in the studio Dr. Fred, and also from the Ministry of Health in River State. And you can watch him live right now on Facebook, Dr. Tamino Wari, who's Department of Public Health. And we're talking about the cases in River State, 3 dead. I feel sad talking about the numbers, but 3 dead in River State from Lassa fever, 3 currently undergoing treatment, and about 57 contact persons being watched. Well, let's talk about the coronavirus. This is a new virus originated from Wuhan in China and has spread to 28 more countries. Now it's been raised as an epidemic across the world. If you're wondering what countries where we've had the cases of coronavirus, China. Now there are about 24,328 cases and 491 deaths. Japan, 33 cases, no deaths. Thailand, 25 cases, no deaths. Singapore, 24 cases, 0 death. Hong Kong, 18 cases, 1 death. South Korea, 18 cases, no death. Australia, 13 cases, no death. Germany, 12 cases, no death. 11 cases in the United States, no death. Taiwan, 11 cases, no death. Malaysia, 10 cases, no death. Vietnam, 10 cases, no death. Macau, 10 cases, no death. France, 6 cases, 0 death. The UAE, 5 cases of the coronavirus, no death. Canada, 5 cases so far. India, 3 cases, no death. Philippines, 2 cases, 1 death. Russia, 2 cases, 0 death. Italy, 2 cases, 0 death. United Kingdom, 2 cases, 0 death. Nepal, 1 case, 0 death. Finland, 1 case, 0 death. Also, Sweden, 1 case, 0 death. Sri Lanka, 1 case, 0 death. Cambodia, Belgium, Spain, all have 1 cases each and 0 death. Dr. Fred, tell us about the coronavirus.
Let me update something. Right now it's 29 countries. It's 24,533 cases right now. So the coronavirus has been since about 1960. That causes the common flu. Yeah. So this particular strain is a new one where it's been called novel. Mm-hmm. So individuals, one point in their life, every individual will surely be exposed to this coronavirus and you would respond, you'll be fine later on. However, there are some particular coronaviruses that are deadly. And one of them is this novel. It's called novel because research is ongoing. It's not been seen before. They don't understand its mode of transmission, treatment. However, China helped the world by notifying WHO on time.
And working hard to contain it.
Unlike SARS then, now, even if they did inform WHO on time, imagine what would have happened if they had kept it that long. So coronavirus do cause the cold, runny nose, fever, sore throats, and you treat with over-the-counter medications. Which look like
normal symptoms of a flu or a cold.
Yeah, upper respiratory tract infections. In severe cases, it can go to the lower respiratory tract, causing pneumonia. Now, the people dying, it's been said that a huge number of people dying are elderly, and these individuals have other comorbidities, other conditions that are making them die because they're having CVS disorder, cardiovascular disease with the heart, they're having low immunity, some of them are having diabetes, so they're dying. And those responding, they said about a good number of those responding are within the young age brackets. So WHO is telling the world to remain calm and they're working on it. Research is going on. A research in China said the number we are having here is actually much more than that because you'll be confirmed a case of corona after you've gone through the tests.
Oh, okay.
Which means there are a huge number of patients that have not gone through this test.
Right.
So we probably have more people.
About 75,000.
Wow.
Yeah, the federal government said the other time that we have test centers right now that we're ready for coronavirus if it comes into Nigeria. Do you have confidence, any confidence in this statement?
Okay, this is how I responded when someone asked me this. China built a 1,000 bed in less than 10 days. They'll be completing another 1,500 today. They are completing 2,000 beds, like the hospital in schools. The bunkers in school, another 2,000. You see the response. Please, I want to ask you, have you been in Nigeria for so long?
Yes.
Have you seen our responses to life events? Do you think we are ready to
we can take a cue from the Lassa fever that we started with, which we have this epidemic every year.
Yeah.
We don't seem to be ever ready for it. So are we ready for coronavirus?
At the same time, Dr. Fred, sorry to butt in, we saw what we did when Ebola came in. It didn't look like we were ready, but we sure did something.
Looks like we were lucky.
Some people called it magical. What happened?
God has been merciful to Nigeria.
Oh, it's God.
God, sincerely, that's the only way I have to go about it.
Is God not merciful to China?
You mentioned one doctor to 10,000 individuals. When they commissioned the 1,000 bed, China deployed 1,400 medical workers to attend to individuals affected with corona at that facility. They are deploying more workers. Please, I don't know. Okay, let me pretend I'm not a doctor. Can we deploy a 1,500 workers if we have a corona outbreak in Nigeria. I'm just talking like in Nigeria.
Dr. Numbere, do you have any contrary view to this? I mean, it's looking quite gloomy.
Sorry, what is? Yes.
Have you been following up on our discussion on coronavirus?
No, not
Look,
really.
we're talking about how ready we are as a nation to tackle coronavirus in the event of an outbreak. How ready do you feel?
Well, I think that
Yeah.
question might be answered or should be answered by the authorities, maybe the Minister of Health. But when we look at what has been done in China, the response, I don't think we are fully ready to respond as we should. But compared to before Ebola came, I would say that capacity has been built to an extent. But in terms of everything regarding the response, I'm not sure we're fully ready.
That if anyone is coming in from China or other countries that have had cases to deal with concerning coronavirus, these people should self-quarantine for 14 days. Now, opinions are sharply divided. Some people are saying that you're asking people to self-quarantine, that is sentencing them to death by your government. Some people have said that it's the best thing to do so that these people don't get to relate and transmit, this disease to other people. What's your point on this? What's your thought on this?
So first, we must remember that these are people. They're not just numbers, and we're interacting with people who are probably scared or afraid. It's our responsibility to calm their fears. Now, and we should also remember that they're not exhibiting any symptoms yet. We're just trying to be proactive, and it might be the easiest thing to do to advise them to restrict movement. We do it for some outbreaks, because they've not started exhibiting any symptoms. We say maybe while we monitor your temperature, for instance, for Lassa, while we monitor your temperature, you do restrict your movement a little bit for the maximum incubation period. But at the same time, we remember that these are people, and we're always in touch with them, communicating with them, so that they're not left in the dark. Yes.
Self-quarantine, an approach you're taking in River State right now. What's the minister doing when it's coronavirus? I know the Lagos State government steps, even if we don't fully agree with that.
Sensitize the public on coronavirus, and also liaising with the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, sharing the information released by the NCDC to the public to know that now the NCDC lab has capacity to make the diagnosis, and people should present to health facilities if they have any symptoms. So we're riding on that, and also trying to redesign or renovate our holding center that we're using for Lassa fever to be fit for purpose in case we have a suspected case of coronavirus.
Okay, so let me take this part again. Before China invited WHO, it was about 3 weeks gap before inviting WHO, and it's been said that about 5,000 Chinese traveled away from that region before inviting WHO. And now the incubation period being exposed to this virus coming down is about to have this virus not coming down with symptoms and still infecting someone else. Now, if you're telling me to self-quarantine myself, what if I'm taking care of? I mean, quarantine myself and infect my baby. What if I have other individuals I'm taking care of? See, if you want to do something, we have to act. We don't have to negotiate. Let's see if you will come down, which means by the time you are coming down, you have spread this to another. Now, researchers are saying again, if you're having this coronavirus novel, an individual can infect 4 other individuals different from the rest. Coronavirus is SARS and the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. This is different. So an individual can infect 4 others.
Let's talk about the symptoms of coronavirus. What do we watch out for in case I find someone near me who, wary of? What should I watch out
Just
for?
think of the common flu: the sneezing, the fever, the runny nose, the sore
So
throat.
how's that? I mean, many people come down with sore throat and fever and cold and sneezing.
My question is, do we have a record of all the individuals that are coming to Nigeria from that region right now? We don't know where they are. We don't know where they're going to. We don't know individuals they've contacted. And in case this individual comes down with coronavirus, we don't know how we'll trace. I mean, we like the reactive. We like to react.
We like to react. The
Not
phone
afraid.
lines are buzzing. Let's give you the phone numbers for those who didn't get it the first time. Would like you to join us.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
We're
Yes,
listening
we
to
are.
you right now.
Let's see who's here. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sheriff and Wemimo.
Good morning.
This is Taiwo from Ibadan.
Good to have you here.
No, some questions were just popping up my head. When the doctor was mentioning the ratio of the doctor to... Hello?
Yes,
go
we
on,
can
go
hear
on,
you.
please.
For mentioning the ratio of that one doctor to 10,000 patients.
Yes.
I don't know. We have doctors in Nigeria who are looking for a job, who want to do their residency. Why are they not employing them? I have a younger brother who is a medical doctor who has tried several times to get employed by the government, but they're not giving him the job.
Right.
It's not that all our doctors are running away. They are there. They want this job. Give it to them. Because I don't know. May God help us.
See, you started well. Don't finish it like that. Oh, please.
Let me just throw in this. The Nigerian government, they said if you're having these symptoms, you feel like this, please call this number. There was a number there. So I tried. Personally, I tried calling the number. I was on call waiting. I was talking. The machine was speaking with me.
Forever.
It was speaking with me. I needed to experience this.
Right.
Which means if I have an individual or a patient and I'm suspecting corona, I would be on my own or just there. I would need to shout and beg, and then maybe I'll infect myself and transfer it. We should not just let Nigerians feel that something is happening.
Right, indeed. Let's take another call. Hello, good morning to you. Nigerian, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, my name is Damien.
Welcome, Damien. Where are you calling from?
I'm actually calling from Papa.
Okay, let's hear you.
Okay. I've been listening intently to the conversation since. And the lapses in our healthcare is actually what it's showing right now. But we are missing something also. Apart from Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Health, nobody's talking about Ministry of Environment. What they needed to do to sort our environment so that we can depopulate these rats. I'm not talking in terms of the one we have here with the Lassa fever. I happen to be the head of Committee of Environment in my estate where I reside.
Okay.
And I know how we go about trying to sort our environment within this space where I reside. We would like government to step up what we used to have in the 70s. I grew up in Lagos. We used to have these wole people.
Kai.
Not with Kai.
Not Kai.
Inspectors, health inspectors.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
They come to houses. They fumigate your compound. They fumigate the gutters, the drainages. We don't have them anymore. And I'm sure we can make available resources.
Well, I asked questions and I'm told that they still work.
Where?
That's the question. I've never seen them in mine either.
I've never seen them.
You have made a fantastic point there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And in a letter I wrote to my local government chairman, I talked about rats. And it looks like we're not even asking questions from the local government to say, what are we doing in terms of this environment? Our environments are so dirty. We've talked about this.
Right. We have. And Dr. Fred, you should weigh in on this. In America, in the UK, in some other countries, you have people from the public health ministry called exterminators. What they do is if you complain of any infestation, rats or roaches or anything, they come, fumigate, and make sure they get rid of these things. Now that we're having to deal with Lassa fever, being a particular species of rats being the main vector, shouldn't we be, as government now,
just exterminate all the rats?
Exterminators everywhere to try to do their job.
Yeah, there was a song sung by Omaome, If You Ask Me.
Let us ask the audience. Audience participation. Who do we ask? Good morning.
Hello, good morning to you.
Morning.
We can barely hear you.
You sound very faint.
Can you adjust it very quickly?
My name is no. I'm sorry, you might have to call another line.
Sorry. Try and call other lines. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Nii from Lekki.
Welcome, Nii.
Yeah, I think I want to comment on the Lassa fever.
Respite.
So if we say during the rainy season, we don't get to experience it, and during the dry season we experience it. What are the factors that make us experience it during dry season? How can we, apply that same knowledge during dry season, to be able to curb the disease? So I'm wondering, is it because people don't spread food, outside during rainy season? Is that the reason why we don't get those incidents? Or because the rats don't come out, or because the rats are unable to, develop those type of, that type of disease to pass on to humans during dry rainy season? So what exactly is the factor that can help us there? And we can clearly see between rainy and dry season. Mm-hmm. So we should be able to learn something from there.
True.
Yeah, I think 2 out of 3.
This is a very beautiful question.
Yeah.
Now, the reason for this, during the dry season, if you notice in Ondo, Ebonyi, we have a large proportion of farmers over there.
Right.
Now, during the dry season, if you've resided in that area before, you'll notice that they do what they call bush burning. Now, these rats stay in the bush. Now, during the bush burning, these rats run into the houses to look for somewhere cooler for them to live. That is how they move in masses to different homes. The food that was there before on the floor, and there was no rat, this rat comes in there and infects the food. That is one major reason why we usually have this condition, the bush burning and the run.
It's probably just survival mechanism for the rats. Yes, it's dry season, they're coming out to look up.
Scientists, if you want us to ignore the rats, to what extent? Do you exterminate in the whole south? How do you go about this rat? Do you exterminate the whole rats in Nigeria?
Is this impossible to do?
I don't know. Maybe we can. Let's look for ways.
Can we exterminate all the rats in your area? Let's start from there. Yeah. Let's start from your local government. Do you think it's possible to kick out all the rats in your area?
That's a very valid question. Machiavelli on Facebook says, good morning, guys. Pastors in church should stop telling people to shake their hands or high five in church. Last Sunday, this guy kept sneezing in church without a napkin. I had to tell my wife we need to leave.
Smart choice, I must say.
I think so. Matthew Austin says our government are not ready for outbreak of coronavirus. That's our government says every time. At the end, we now see that nothing is in place. Tawheed says that he's agreeing with Rotimi. That's the soundbite of Rotimi you played earlier. And then that's what he was trying to say.
If someone sneezes around you, it's not rude to excuse yourself or to say, I don't want to shake you. Dr.
It's not rude at all.
No, it's not
Please.
rude. It's not rude. You can politely or someone stretches.
So lately, we've been doing chop knuckle, and I think to some extent it's safe to do chop knuckle.
Okay, so
as against shaking hands.
Just don't knuckle or don't just say hi from afar and move.
So I don't know if you've come across something. Say if you're coughing, you're sneezing into your
elbow.
Yeah. Some school of thought have debunked that. That's not a good means too, because if you're sneezing to your elbow and I'm saying hi to you and I'm hugging you, we're discussing, I could also touch my elbow and infect myself not knowing.
But it's safer than sneezing into the air. I think it's an option, an alternative for if you don't have a handkerchief.
What is the best option, Dr. Fred?
The best option is if you're sneezing, get what do you call it? Tissue paper.
Okay.
Now, if you know that you are having something that could infect another individual via droplets, get a face mask. That face mask also is in quotes though, because they are specific face masks.
Not those type they sell everywhere in traffic here. Those light thing, greenish thing you hang on your nose. Does that work?
It could work. It could work for some conditions. However, other conditions you need a specific face masks, like what we call the N95. It's called a respirator, has filters. Those ones actually can protect
Do we have those? Are they available?
They are everywhere.
We have plenty of conversations going on our YouTube page. People are trying to educate themselves on the signs and symptoms, and they are arguing on some level as well. I could see a lot of people, just dropping what they have read online, agreeing and
you should head
disagreeing
over
with
to
themselves.
YouTube. It's always very, very interesting
Yeah,
there.
it is. It is.
YouTube is Nigeria Info 99.3. Facebook is also Nigeria Info 99.3, and you can join the conversation right there.
Absolutely. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Ayla. This is Samuel calling from Bokoda.
Good to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Igbokoda is where exactly?
Ondo State.
Oh, yeah.
Good to have you join us.
Okay, I just want you guys to briefly explain on the symptoms on coronavirus and how someone can prevent himself from getting it also.
Okay, we talked about that earlier. In case you missed it, we'll let the doctor quickly touch on that again. It's just like flu, like cold.
Yeah. You have fever, could be fever or not fever, runny nose.
Fever is body temperature.
Yes, increased
Right.
body temperature,
Right.
runny nose, you're coughing. You could have sore throats. And when it's now progressing to serious case, you have difficulty with breathing. So difficulty breathing does not set in immediately. However, you're having your cough, the catarrh, what we call catarrh, runny nose, increased body temperature. You're feeling ill. I don't like myself. I don't like the way I'm feeling.
Right.
Yes, we experience that with the common flu, the common cold, always. Now, how do you protect yourself? Hygiene. We can never overemphasize hygiene. Wash your hand regularly and thoroughly. Have a hand sanitizer. Remember in the Ebola period, hand sanitizer became like gold.
Right.
Everybody with
You
hand
can say that
sanitizer.
again.
Then later,
But now-
You can say that again.
Now we're telling you, please get a hand sanitizer again. Then don't sneeze or cough with
Into
a
your
handkerchief.
palms.
Your handkerchief. No, you're gonna reinfect. You are reinfecting.
Oh, the handkerchief is a no-no.
Is it no? You're
Okay.
reinfecting yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, better to use a tissue, dump, and take a fresh one.
Yes.
Indeed. Let's see who's here. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes,
Good morning.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the program. I'm really enjoying it. I'm calling from the Kejas.
Okay.
Now, on this issue of this Lassa visa or coronavirus and our attitude in Nigeria. Now, I just want to draw your attention and everybody to this. If you are coming from Ibadan or just Baga Bridge, you just look towards where they are selling all these cattle. You see the bushers using the stream to wash those meats they come and sell to the public.
Using what to wash the meat?
The stream. That, you see,
water from the
river.
stream.
Yes. Open. Just here on top of the bridge. You will see them. This morning, I just left the place. About 20 of them using that stream. And beside it, you see a toilet.
Oh.
You see them defecating,
You see?
see them urinating. Open. As we speak, it's happening now. It's everyday show. So, when we talk about to combat all this Lassa fever, when our attitude is so bad, so poor, it's a serious matter. So I just wish all of us can really wake up and do something
I
about
have goosebumps right now. Just imagine the kind of meat I've been
Thank you so much
eating.
for your thoughts. Thank you.
Ministry of Health. I mean, shouldn't we be watching where meat is coming from? Shouldn't we know what they're doing to the kind of food we're eating?
I made up my mind when coming this morning that there are some questions that, if been asked, the next thing I'll
You
give
just
back
play
is-
Oma with me.
I will just play Oma with me for you. Who do we ask? See, when I was growing up, we've been hearing this. We're hoping that to change. Rather, it's getting worse by the day.
Right.
It is really alarming and worrisome. And if
Sorry, please, for
Yes.
cutting short. The coronavirus. Now, scientists have said that an individual who's been infected with this coronavirus, the physics, the pool, the virus can survive in that pool and reinfect public. Imagine if coronavirus gets into Nigeria.
Indeed.
and we defecate in the
Imagine
open.
if coronavirus gets into Nigeria
Kenneth-
with our hygiene.
Kenneth Evans on YouTube says borders should have been shut down 2 months ago when the NCDC knew what was happening in China. Will that have helped
Our borders are still
regarding coronavirus?
I believe what he was talking about is maybe the land, the sea, the air, all routes should have been covered. Because in Italy, I think there was a ferry that was quarantined there in the sea. Every individual quarantined.
Yes.
Right.
Then after 14
a
days,
cruise boat.
yes, if you don't come down after 14 days, please come in.
Yeah.
This is not like come in. And if you feel you're having it, call me.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game.
It's different from what we are doing here.
I didn't say
Call
anything.
us. Nobody. Dr. Fred. It's different from what the government is saying.
Me.
Okay.
No, not government.
Okay.
It's different from what I'm saying, that if you feel ill,
then you can call.
Then call me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've traveled, you've gone for a party, you've gone for a conference. I don't know. Just call me if you feel ill, or quarantine yourself. Maybe when you're quarantining yourself, you have family members. You're having a party in your quarantine.
It's really alarming. Let's get back to the phone.
Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ibinabo.
Okay, welcome Ibinabo. Where are you calling from?
Alan, I'm actually in traffic.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. The last caller was talking about meat being washed in streams and people defecating somewhere around. Let me give you a scenario. After these things have been washed there, they put them on Okada. And they are being driven around in the dust and everything.
Right.
And that's what we consume. You don't want to believe the number of viruses we've been exposed to. But I don't know, somehow we Nigerians, maybe we have this immune system that can easily fight diseases. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Well,
you discover
I hope.
people on the mainland, the kind of disease they're exposed to are different from the people living in Banana Island. I don't know if you agree with me.
I don't know if I agree with you either.
Ibinabo, we'd like to continue this conversation with you, but we need to head out now for the news.
Right, we'll go on a quick break. The news will be here and we're back. Remember, the Morning Crossfire now extends to 9:30, so we'll be able to talk with you some more. Dr. Fred is still here with us. Join us again after the break. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are back, and we're still talking Lassa fever and the coronavirus. And we're taking your calls and comments on this last half. The show now extends to 9:30, and that means that Money, Business and Economy with Tunji Andrews will come up at 9:30. He's standing by right now to bring you the show. But let's ask you more questions about Lassa fever. We've raised concerns about if we can exterminate rats across the whole of Nigeria. Is it a possibility? Isn't it? Why can't we? What's your local government doing? Are you even asking questions from them? Lassa fever, can we contain it? It's a yearly outbreak. Why do we keep losing people? Is there a sincerity from government to actually deal with Lassa fever?
And talking about coronavirus, it's a global epidemic. How can we be ready? Are we ready? Do we know what we're supposed to know? Is self-quarantine the way to go? Or there is a more holistic approach the government can take to protect lives of citizens here in Nigeria. Dr. Fred Unubwa is here in the studio with us. Dr. Fred, thank you for staying around. We will be taking more of your thoughts on our socials and our WhatsApp and calls as well. For those that want to join us to watch us live on YouTube and Facebook, just search for Nigeria Info 99.3. If you're not liking us yet, if you're not liked us yet on Facebook, please do that. Like our page. If you're not done that, just search for Nigeria Info 99.3. If you are not a subscriber to our YouTube channel, please do that right now. Nigeria Info 99.3. A whole lot of conversation going on those portals. Our WhatsApp line is 0809 597 5805. That is 0809 597 5805. Loads of WhatsApp messages are already here. We'll take as many as we can. But here are the numbers you can call.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
Oh, yes, we are listening. And WhatsApp number is 0809-597-5805. There's a comment. It made me laugh. AG on WhatsApp says, good morning. It's not proper to exterminate all the rats because they have their own functions in the ecosystem. True, but
if you destabilize the ecosystem, the ecosystem have like we call the pyramid, like a food chain. Yeah, they maintain this balance. If you take them away, which I doubt we can.
Can we even take all of them?
I don't think we can. Trust me, they've been with us since the beginning of
time. Another one from Ibrahim from Ikoyi says, please, we're not ready for coronavirus, only Corolla car. Guys, come on. Says, please, we have medical students graduated from universities across Nigeria. Why are we still having one doctor to thousands of patients? Let me take a cue from Dr. Fred. If you ask me, who would ask? Mayor from Aja says the last caller is breeding a mentality that Nigerians are special people that diseases may not thrive in.
He was asking a question as to why why some kind of epidemic hasn't broken out yet. He was wondering what kind of immunity we have.
Well, Mayor says that idea must die. We aren't different. In fact, we die more. It's just that there are multidimensional setbacks in Nigeria. That's why we don't pay attention to diseases. Says come to Ikota, Aja Ghetto and see how people die like flies. TB, HIV, hepatitis, malaria, and so much. Oludare from Ikorodu, please, if the coronavirus can be transmitted via excretion, what's the fate of people who smell a victim's fart? What's fart got to do with this? Can you transmit?
We might find out the coming weeks when scientists make research.
Yeah, we never know.
But for now, can you transmit?
That's a valid
smelling
question.
Someone's fart?
I have no idea.
I mean, it's in the air, right?
We don't know if the virus survives from that region coming out from the fat.
From the anus.
Yes, we don't know.
But fat is what?
No,
it's
gas.
It's not liquid.
Yeah, it's not liquid.
Is it gaseous liquid?
Definitely, it's gaseous. So we don't know if this virus would survive in that particular atmosphere.
Michael on WhatsApp says, please, can we have an update on the evacuation of Nigerians in Wuhan and at large in China? None ongoing right now.
Over 90 Nigerians are in Wuhan.
Yeah.
And the Chinese authorities said that that's what they can confirm. The Nigerian government said that they are not authorizing any evacuation.
and that no Nigerian in China has been infected.
Right.
It says, is this the worst time to be a Nigerian in China? Does this not confirm why we don't have a real value for Nigerian souls? Other responsible countries have done the needful. Does Nigeria love Nigerians?
Let's see who's here. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Sherry.
Good morning.
Yeah, this Friday for me.
Welcome.
Yeah, I want to appreciate Nigeria. If Nigeria government can put 1/4 of effort Nigeria is putting into this problem, I think that by now we would have gone over it. It's only your station. You listen to other stations. You don't even get anything from me. See, Nigeria is a special country. God love this country. I just pray that God will continue to protect us from our leader. The effort the state government is putting on banning Okada. If we can put half of it on this Olola and Lassa issue, I think by now all the rats in Lagos will be in a gone issue. Thank you very much. God will continue to bless you people.
Right. Mamza on Facebook says, my name is Kazi Mamza. Issue of health workers or which organization cannot help nowadays. Corruption has eaten the heart of Africans. If you send critical officials for operation, the only thing they will do is to see how they can get bribe and let it go for whatever crime or offense they see. I'm guessing perhaps he was referring to the issue of exterminators going to houses. If you just say to them, they'll probably just say, okay, don't worry, we'll not exterminate your house or something.
Let's head to Twitter, where Joe Forever says our health sector is in shambles. Mr. Agbo said it all. Accessing it is an Herculean task. Region people go for alternatives. We're too dirty in Nigeria also. I agree with that. Says if you see where meat is coming from, go to abattoirs. There is an epidemic. I know. Okay, someone is tagging us on a post. All right, Mutaza Miki Yusuf says that the World Health Organization declared coronavirus a potential global threat is enough to scare us in Nigeria because we don't seem to have the capacity to contain an emergency. Lassa fever keeps killing hundreds of Nigerians yearly. However, Dr. Fred, is this something we really should have a red alert for right now?
The coronavirus.
The coronavirus? Should we be how worried should we be on a scale of 1 to 10?
We should be worried. Personally, I feel 7. Now, the government is saying, don't panic. There's a difference between being panic and being ready. Yeah, you could hear that they are robbing around your environment. You're not panicking, you're calm. You know what you have at home.
Right.
If they dare come to my door, this is what I do to you. Now, panic can make you lose concentration. So, the government is saying, don't panic. Cool. Yeah, that's
good advice.
That's a very good advice. However, what are the measures on ground in case it comes in? How do we nip it in the bud? Look at what happened in the case of Ebola.
Right.
Look at the doctor that had to help Nigeria. You remember Nigerians were telling about salt and water, and everybody, parents were calling their kids.
Right.
Bitter cola.
You see our level of reasoning. Now, even in churches, you hear people tell you that I can never have corona, I can never have Lassa.
Over my dead body. You do like this and it goes away.
It's really sad.
It's sad. And please, I want to add something. Nigerian health workers are hardworking. Trust me. If one
doctor to 10,000 patients, I mean, it doesn't need telling.
You know what it means to be seeing 100 patients. You can't get up from the seats. You have not even eaten. You're trying to compose yourself mentally, physically, and give the best care.
There's something I do when I go to the hospital. Is to ask the doctor if the doctor, he or she has had breakfast, because there's this shock on their faces, like, oh, there's a patient that can even ask me if I've eaten. And many of them tell me they work for hours. And if they try to excuse themselves to say, I want to go and eat, people almost kill them.
You don't blame
because people are sick.
Yes, you don't blame them too.
I mean,
you can't blame the doctor. You can't blame the audience. You can't blame the nurses. You can't blame the lab scientists. You can't blame the cleaners. You just can't blame them. Everybody needs to help himself or herself.
Who do we blame?
So if you get up from your seat,
we've got to blame somebody, Dr. Fred. Who do we blame?
Okay, I think that song will have to come in somewhere very soon.
Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, sorry, quick one.
Yeah, so you want to tell us your name?
Yeah, this Mayowa from Iwaya.
Okay, welcome Mayowa.
Yeah, the guest in the studio was saying something, that this thing is not spiritual. And he made mention of when the Ebola virus came to Nigeria, and we didn't even know how we conquered it. And God helped us. So, this one that is on right now, is about the prophecy in the Bible coming to pass, about the end time. These diseases, plagues, they will be more on people. Why? Because of their unbelief, their sin. So all we need is go back to God. Yes.
That.
So what
How do
we do that? How do we do that?
Yeah. I'm not against. As you have seen me, I'm a medical laboratory scientist. Yes, I'm a medical assistant. So, as much as government, medical practitioners also need to do something.
Right.
Come to the head of people. So, at the same time, we should look at the spiritual aspect of it.
Oh, there is a spiritual aspect. You maintaining that?
Well,
yes.
People are free to be spiritual, to feel that there's a spiritual aspect to things. But what we know is that not everyone would toe that line, and they also have a right to live.
I also think that we don't need to mislead ourselves. Viruses, diseases, these things are part of humanity. I mean, some of them have been in existence for like ever.
Lassa fever has been around since the 50s.
So let's not attach. Let's just go. This is the part
can
where
we pray this away?
I would want us to be
if we could pray Lassa
careful.
fever away, it's been around for the 1950s. Nigeria is a very religious country. We should have prayed it away. Right?
Dr. Fred, just hold your thought. Hold your thought. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes,
good morning.
Yeah, my name is Sunday.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, I want to comment on the Lassa fever first. Yeah, you guys are actually doing a good job, and I thank the doctor that he has educated us enough. But there are some things you're not actually saying. The symptoms, because not everybody actually knows at what point to go to the hospital. Some people might actually think they're having malaria or typhoid. So the symptoms and then the precautions to be taken, what measures you have to put in place. And then if you notice a particular type of symptom, what do you do at first and then before you go to the hospital?
Okay, let's throw that to Dr. Fred.
Okay, so we start with Lassa fever. Now, an individual that has Lassa fever, in the beginning, there will be no differentiation between Lassa fever and even malaria. So you wouldn't blame a health worker or a doctor who sees a patient come to the clinic with this complaint and you test and treat for malaria. Now, having treated for
But if you test for malaria, you should find it negative, shouldn't you?
Definitely.
Unless the person also has malaria.
Also has malaria, because malaria has been...
And we know how malaria is in Nigeria.
Always, yeah.
I mean,
now,
if you test anybody for malaria, you most likely find it.
Now, the most funny thing is, if this individual who has been on anti-malaria does not improve...
After how many days?
Let's say 2-3 days. Then you go to Lassa. But having the outbreak right now, Lassa goes to get out whatever you're investigating Lassa. So what do we tell Nigerians? You're feeling feverish, you're feeling headache, you're having body pains, chest pain, you feel like you want to vomit, or you're vomiting, or you're having diarrhea, passing loose stool, you're going to toilet frequently, and your physics, your stool is watery. Those are signs. There are other sicknesses too that presents like this.
Oh.
Do you understand? So it's not just unique
so
to Lassa.
Is that something the medical workers are doing to say when people come, we don't just check for malaria now? Is that a standard thing now?
It's a standard whenever someone comes to the clinic. See, okay, there's something you always ask every patient. I ask them, did you travel over the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks? Yes. Where again did you travel to? The answers I get would decide if I bring Lassa as my number one or malaria as my number one. I'm not saying that I take Lassa away, but
which would be top?
Yeah, we call it differential diagnosis. So it's on a list based on priority. So having heard all this, then you know how to investigate. If that individual is coughing also and there's blood, you want to add TB on that list.
Right.
If this individual is now losing weight, so dry with spots, there's some other things you want to add on that list. So it's a whole. It's not just because you're coming then malaria alone. No.
Right. Let's see. Say hello. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes,
good morning.
Yeah, Wemimo and the rest of you guys. Good morning.
Yes. Morning.
I appreciate your session. Wonderful one.
Thank you.
I want to comment on this Wuhan and the coronavirus.
Right.
I know on the social media, thank God for social media, the Nigerian residents there, they confirm that they are not yet infected, but that they are asking the federal government to come and evacuate them. Why is it that the Senate will begin to debate whether to evacuate them or not? You see, we make policies sometimes. It becomes people begin to read meaning. Is it because the majority of them are Igbos? Something happened to somebody in the Saudi Arabia. Immediately, the federal government took over. Do you understand what I'm saying? So those people are not infected. We cannot bring them because we want to infect them. They should die there. Nigerians. God help this country. Good morning.
Well, you have raised a valid concern.
Right.
Do we wait until the Nigerians in China? So it's 50-50. So they might not come down with the virus.
Right.
They might. Should we evacuate them as a matter of emergency?
But again, what he saw, what he read on social media. So I can't independently verify that there are people in China, Nigerians in China, who were crying to be brought back home. It's almost like we can liken this to what happened, these xenophobic attacks in South Africa, where it was made voluntary. If you want to come home, indicate. And there was someone who even put down his own airline to bring people back home. But Dr. Fred, you're here. Have you heard in any way where Nigerians there are saying that they want to come back home?
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. If you spend few time on social media,
right,
you get this. It's everywhere now. Nothing is impossible to achieve. Nothing is impossible. If you're telling me you don't want them to come over so that they don't infect Nigerians, which means you can actually bring them and keep them somewhere.
Right.
There are measures, there are processes to do, and it's just the will. We need the government to look at what happened. Xenophobic attack.
Right.
Imagine if this was Corona also. It means an individual would have taken this Nigerians from South Africa back to Nigeria. Now, if they come back to Nigeria, where are we keeping them? Are we going to tell them go home again? You feel ill? Please call me. Where do we keep them?
Self-quarantine.
Countries that value lives are keeping this individual somewhere for 2 weeks. If you calm down, no problem. We take you here and we deal with it immediately. You feel ill, do this. And we're waiting.
Well, there was a bill raised in the House of Reps on this.
Yeah.
This is why this conversation keeps coming up. There's a lawmaker. It was quite a heated argument in the House as to whether or not Nigerians and China should be evacuated, and the lawmakers rejected that bill. Even coming
2 ways.
Yeah.
Personally, if we bring them back, do we have the facilities? Do we have the manpower? Do we have what we need to take care of them? The answer is yes and no. No, because I don't know. We look at what we have on ground. Yes, we can do it if we want to do it.
But if we want to, I'm not sure they're up to how many? Are they up to 500?
I don't know the exact number. They 90, but
90.
It could be more. It could be
Over
less.
90.
Over 90.
Can't we manage 90 people if we
Can
bring
you
them?
imagine?
We have to go. We really must go. Tunji Andrews is here. Tunji, there is this argument before we go on that whatever it is that's happening in China will definitely have ripple effect on our economy. We are an economy that is dependent on oil. And we know how valid China is, even in development in Nigeria, let alone Africa, the entire continent. How will this affect us on the long run if China is struggling to contain coronavirus?
I think it's multiple levels. I was listening to some analysts talking about the fact that the economy in China and sentiment about buying into China, whether buying Chinese stocks or investing in China, has always been very bullish, despite all the negative news coming out of China.
Right.
But that this is the first time that analysts are beginning to look at China and thinking, hold up, this
Don't go yet.
Yeah, don't go yet. And analysts are saying that China may not go through this unscarred. So that is this thing is, we're looking at it as an illness, which it is, but it's going to do a lot of things as a ripple effect for the entire world economy in terms of investment, in terms of China, investing in the rest of the world and things like that. So it's.
You think our weariness to evacuate about 60 Nigerians in the Wuhan province might be because of the kind of relationship we have with the Chinese government? Is there a possibility the Nigerian government thinks?
I think it's capacity.
To evacuate 60 people?
Yeah, it's capacity. It's not that easy.
In what regard, please? Which capacity are we talking about?
So capacity in terms of, because this thing requires planning.
Yeah.
You don't just evacuate. You don't just. It's not like you put a plane there and say Niger. It's like there is a protocol. There is contacting the Chinese government. We want to evacuate our people. The Chinese, there's relations in this entire scenario. Yeah, and then when you're evacuating these people, how do you know who has corona, who doesn't have corona? Right. Because you're going to put everybody in the same plane. Yeah. There has to be a check there before you put them on the plane.
But it doesn't look like we even want to do
so
it.
So that's
at all.
I'm saying that's what I said. Capacity. You know, if you want to do it, you have to lay out protocol. It's not something that you just jump on the plane and go there and
say Nigeria. Let's talk about what's coming up at 9:30.
All right. So today is we do the econ talk this morning, and there's so many things that are going on in and around the economy. We have our Avengers. Yeah. Thanos
Avengers.
is not here. Yeah, Thanos is Chinedu of Max NG. He's facing his he's facing his issues, so he won't be here today. But we have other guests in the studio, and we're going to be looking at things around the economy today, especially the macro issues. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned, and we are leaving you to return at 6 a.m. tomorrow. We thank very much Dr. Fred Inubuha for joining us on the show.
Dr. Fred, thank you.
We had earlier Dr. Tamnawari Numbiri from the Department of Public Health, Rivers State Ministry of Health. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., make sure to join the show. Big thanks to the whole team. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
I'm Sheriff Quadry.
Have a good day. Tuji Andrews is right here.
From your #1 talk news and sports station, this is the Morning Crossfire with Wemimo and Sheriff.